Did Roman Reigns walk out of Monday Night Raw the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, or did Vince McMahon screw him over? And the new Job Squad 2K16 made their debut on Monday Night Raw. That's what am I talking about? Well, we're going to tell you on this week's Monday Night Raw review right here on WGS-TV. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
Hey everybody, we're the Bayou Boys. I'm Boudreaux.
And I'm Thibodeau.
And there's three things that we love doing: eating boudin, eating crawfish, and watching WGS-TV.
Greetings YouTube, you have worked your way back into another episode of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. I am the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux. Today is January 5th, 2016, and what we're going to be doing on this video, guys, in particular, is talking about last night's Monday Night Raw, the first Raw of 2016. Was it a great Raw? Was it all it was cracked up to be? And will Vince McMahon ever learn to wear a shirt with sleeves on it? Well, we're definitely going to answer all those questions on this video right here. And let me introduce the panel for this week's Monday Night Raw review. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, the one, the only, Rick Head. Rick, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. And after last night, I have a lot of, what the fuck questions.
Yeah, you're not the only one. There was a lot of people that had a lot of what the hell happened. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we know him as our resident music mogul over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and Heath Slater is not the only one that's trying to figure out what the hell Adam Rose said last night.
Yeah, I want to say that pretty much everybody who watched Monday Night Raw last night wanted to know exactly what Adam Rose was talking about. So with that being said, guys and gals, let's go ahead and get the review started. As we look at the opening of Monday Night Raw, first off, it looked like we're going to get the generic Stephanie McMahon entrance, and the guys noticed she was a little bouncy last night. I'm not even going to go into great detail as to what that means. If you don't know what that means, then you haven't hit puberty yet. Yeah. Then she would get immediately interrupted by Roman Reigns, and basically it would just be kind of a setup for what was going to happen in the main event. Basically, Roman saying if Vince screws him over, then he's going to put him in the hospital and such and such. It's basically, pretty much standard tough face bravado, one would say, Rick, from Roman Reigns, wouldn't you say?
I'd actually say this is just a typical Raw opening. Somebody comes down and starts to do a shoot promo before they're halfway done. Another wrestler comes out. They go back and forth, and it usually sets the pace of how the night's going to go.
Now, the opening match on Monday Night Raw this week would be a rematch from last week's Monday Night Raw, although the outcome would be a little bit different and the match length definitely greatly extended. It was Kevin Owens and Neville, and with Dean Ambrose on commentary. Okay, one thing I'm going to say, me being a commentator for 7 years, Dean Ambrose may be good at cutting promos, but doing commentary is a completely different ballgame. Because you're supposed to be out there, you're supposed to help contribute to not only your storyline, but you're supposed to help contribute to the match in itself. That's one of the things that WWE has failed miserably as of late, is in their commentary department. And one would think with Dean Ambrose, Lance, being good at cutting promos, that he could actually contribute something good to commentary. And basically, just like I'm going to say about 90% of the wrestlers who put on the headset, it just couldn't be done.
Well, it might not. Well, it might be he's just not good at doing WWE commentary, because Joey Styles couldn't do WWE style commentary, because when you put that headset on, you have Vince in your ear telling you what to say.
And you know what? If I could add on to that, what Lance said, it's pretty wholeheartely, what's going on today. If you even listen to the WWE commentators, even people like, Jerry Lawler, they all follow a certain protocol. They don't even call wrestling matches, wrestling moves anymore. So it's really not the fault of the wrestlers; it's the fault of the management.
So in that essence, could we even call them commentators? Could we just call them people with headsets on?
They're not technical commentators, but unfortunately, there's some form of commentary.
Which
Like
during pay-per-views, if you want good commentary, check us out right here every pay-per-view for the live audio commentary.
Now, as far as the matchup goes with Kevin Owens and Neville, again, these guys never disappoint, especially when they work a match together. It was indeed a really good match. However, the tape on the midsection of Neville might have been a bit much, in my personal opinion. However, the finish of the match would be Owens with the pop-up powerbomb on Neville, and then Owens would attempt to pull a Sami Zayn on Neville. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Kevin Owens, his first appearance on WWE programming in NXT, powerbombed Sami Zayn against the ring apron. So he was attempting to do that to Neville. Dean Ambrose would intervene and stop that, and then Dean Ambrose would get a measure of revenge by putting Kevin Owens through the announce table, and then for some creepy, odd reason, rubbed his chin on Kevin Owens' face.
He's a lunatic, Billy. What can we say?
That almost reminded me of like a Nasty Boys, like thing that they would do. If you remember, they would usually take their armpits and rub
Pit
the
City.
people's faces. Thank you very much. And that's what it kind of reminded me of.
Now, up next, for some odd reason, we have Titus and Stardust. They've done a couple of comical bits during the holiday season that were actually pretty funny. The match really wasn't anything to talk about. Titus O'Neil would hit the Clash of the Titus on Stardust to pick up the win, so really nothing to take away from that. But however, another major talking point, and see, this is what I like about the NXT Divas now on the main roster. They're starting to present more interesting storylines than what they've done with Brie Bella and Alicia Fox and crap like that. It was the heel turn, the full heel turn that Charlotte did on Becky Lynch. Becky, by the way, Rick, what were the results of your HWR poll about how drunk Ric Flair was last night?
I think we all agree that Flair was between buzzed and drunk.
Yeah, definitely, especially when the jacket came off after the match was over. What exactly happened, guys and gals, is the fact that Charlotte basically turned on Becky Lynch, attacked her, basically going full-on heel. And one thing I'm definitely going to hope that they don't do, Lance, is that next week we see the Nature Girl Charlotte. Or even, I'll take that back, even on SmackDown, because then they made the announcement on SmackDown that Becky Lynch would be getting a shot at the Divas Championship. I do not want to see the Nature Girl Charlotte on SmackDown.
Well, let's forget this would not be the first time we've seen close to a, quote, Nature Girl. And especially if those who have watched NXT. She's come down in the road and shit. But I agree. Having her to be the Nature Girl is basically putting a huge anchor on her that goes woo.
Now, with Ryback in the Big Show, normally I would say, why are we talking about it? But there is a reason why we're actually going to talk about it this week if you haven't seen Monday Night Raw. The Wyatt family would come out, and first they would take out Ryback. And then I think a lot of people, Rick, ever since Braun Strowman has made his debut, would you kind of say that they've always wanted to see a one-on-one match between Braun Strowman and the Big Show?
To be honest with you, I didn't look at it that way because, as we know, Big Show's career is starting to wind down. I do have to admit, I did get a little excited when I saw those two face off. I thought they were just going to throw some punches. It didn't turn out that way because it was pretty much a 4-on-1. As far as them doing a match, I can definitely see something like that happening at the Rumble. Who's going to win? I don't think it's going to be Big Show. He's pretty much going down to part-time, so my guess is they're going to put over Strowman. Who I would like to see Strowman fight? Brock Lesnar.
Now, basically, the reason why Rick brought that up is that's exactly what they used this entire segment for. It was a big Royal Rumble tease. So basically now, essentially, the Wyatt family is now entered into the Royal Rumble match in itself. So that's pretty much what they did. Now, Rusev and Alberto Del Rio taking on the Usos, probably one of the better tag matches I've seen in quite some time, especially out of these four guys. It was indeed a very interesting finish. Normally, when you see Alberto Del Rio do the turnbuckle double stomp, it's the guy that's hanging over in the corner. However, in this instance, it was in the middle of the ropes on one of the Usos, and I gotta say, Rick, that looked a little vicious, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, when I saw that spot, even I cringed. I don't know if it was... I'm guessing it had to be set up, because obviously they wanted to add a little extra pinch, because it was a great match, very fast-paced, so I had to give kudos.
Now, one of the questions... or one of the things we said, or I said rather, in the opening of this review is that the Job Squad 2K16 made their debut on Monday Night Raw. Let me explain what I mean by that. It was a matchup between Dolph Ziggler and Heath Slater. And normally whenever you see Heath Slater on TV, 99.9999999 to infinity % of the time, he's basically taken the loss. But what I found interesting is apparently now there is another faction. It's Heath Slater, it's Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, and Adam Rose. And basically, yeah, it's basically Job Squad 2K16 right there when you think about it. And then, bigger shocker, guys, Heath Slater went over on Dolph Ziggler. If that's not a kick... Go ahead.
Yeah, last night Dolph Ziggler hit an all-time low, and I don't see him raising up anytime soon. Just, it's a shame.
Yeah, basically it's a huge kick in the head, in a sense. And that's also a little pun towards Dolph Ziggler, since as of late he's been using the super kick to the head for his finish. But after the match was over, that promo... First off, I have to agree with what Heath Slater said. What? Adam Rose? What did you say? They're all flowers in a garden? Really? And then Curtis Axel will go, "The chains are off! The chains are off!" I'm like, okay, Bobby Roode. I thought you were supposed to be in TNA. And then Bo Dallas said, "All you gotta do is bow me." That is probably the worst Bo Dallas impression I have ever done in my entire life, Rick.
Actually, no, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, but technically, I think from Lance, what we can take away from the promo is that they're calling themselves the Social Outcasts.
Yeah, but I know what they won't use this, but I know what they should use as their theme music. It's a song by Afro Man, "Because I Got High."
Oh, Jesus. Actually, I was going to use the song "I'm a Loser," but
that one will work too.
And I want to say, for about a couple of weeks, they're going to push these guys before they finally do like the 4-4. They'll be beating down one guy at a time. And it's just basically, I think they've been put together just to put over either the Wyatt family, or actually, the Wyatt family, because the Wyatt family needs to be put over. I don't know any more teams. There was a Roman Reigns team going on, but that kind of already split up. No shocker there.
Now, Rick, first off, I want to ask you this question. Your reactions to the New Day Titantron with all the rainbows and the unicorns and crap like that.
I thought the glowing dildos was a little too much, but obviously, I seriously underestimated them.
Yeah, they would go out to cut up a promo, and then as soon as we saw a countdown happening, you know what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Y2J Chris Jericho would make his return and basically make his intentions known that once again, I want to say probably for the third year in a row, he's going to be entering the Royal Rumble match. I gotta say, first off, it's great to see Jericho back. He hasn't lost a step when it comes to cutting promos, in my personal opinion. I do like some of the jabs he took at the New Day, just a couple of them, not all of them. But I gotta say, though, Lance, seeing Jericho come back wasn't that big of a shocker, but on the same token, it's good to see him back.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, we kind of knew it if you, somebody put out a spoiler on the HWR page, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, you never know who's going to show up, but most of the time, if somebody's in town, they're probably showing up on the show.
And for the record, that was me who put the spoiler on. However, I made it very clear it was a spoiler and moved it down. Yeah. For those who wanted to be stupid enough to read it, so be it. And I'm going to be honest with you. It was cool to see Jericho back, but he just does the same fucking promos. Nothing changes. And I have nothing but respect for Chris Jericho. He's done wonderful things in the industry. And the fact that he's going to try to save the WWE again, I hope this is not going in the direction I think it is. I have a very bad feeling they're going to try to put him at WrestleMania.
Can Jericho
God.
be...
Yeah.
No, let me ask this question. Can Jericho draw today like he used to in the past?
Obviously he can. There are still thousands of Jericho marks. I mean, if you listen, he got a huge pop. There's no denying that. There's no denying that he has fans. He's also been very, I've had a lot of respect for him as he's been, putting over fans in the recent years. I just don't want to see another Rock story where it's going to be Jericho versus Reigns, and for some reason or another, Jericho wins the title.
What the hell was... this is one of the jabs that he made at New Day. Rudy, Tootie, Pootie.
I thought I said Rudy, Tootie, Fruity.
Oh, I might be wrong on that one. I might be wrong on
Yeah,
that one.
it's basically saying they're fruity, which means
Oh, yeah.
it was a very polite political way of saying they're batting for the other team.
Yeah. They have an
anyway-
alternative lifestyle.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen. We don't criticize any other person's lifestyles here on WGS-TV. But anyway,
But we do that, of course, over at HWS, so if you really don't like offensive shit, you might not want to listen to us.
Exactly.
Now, on to the matchup in itself. This was a rematch from Thursday Night SmackDown with the New Day taking on Kalisto and the Dudley Boys with a little bit of a different outcome. This time, the New Day would get the win with the Midnight Hour. And this is one of the things that I actually brought up to you, Rick, on Skype last night during the Monday Night Raw. Yes, guys, we do get together on Skype and we do discuss the show as it's happening. One of the things that really just gripes at me, and maybe it's just me because I've had 7 years experience being a commentator, is one of the things you have to do. You have to contribute to the match. You have to know the backstory. You have to know the moveset, and you have to know the move names. The finisher of the New Day was the Midnight Hour, and Michael Cole said a double team move.
I think, again, it goes back to what we were saying, how the WWE just has really, gone down so many levels when it comes to commentary, and that's just another example.
Exactly. If I had my way, again, I've kind of discovered for myself there is a certain blend that you have to have of telling the story and calling the match. And it comes through like riding a bike. It all comes down to experience. And when you discovered that formula, to success on commentary, you tend to use that. And then sometimes when I look through the lenses that I have as a commentator at Monday Night Raw, and some of the things that they're doing is just basically a slap to the last 7 years that I've done. It's a big slap in my face. Even though I'm not one of the big so big guys in commentary, one of the big guys on YouTube, I still take it as a slap and a personal offense to me, because then it's saying that what I've done for the past 7 years has been complete shit compared to what they're doing. But WWE right now has been complete shit, Lance, when it comes to commentary.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, they had arguably the greatest commentary team ever in the WWE with JR and King. They decide whatever the hell they decide to break them up for, I don't know. And then they put 3 mentally challenged baboons on commentary and then say, hey, this will work.
Now, I'm not going to insult Rich Brennan. Rich Brennan's a good commentator. Probably one of the better commentators I've heard in WWE in quite some time. Although for SmackDown, with the new guy from New Japan Pro Wrestling, I forget what his name is, but he's going to be making his debut on SmackDown. I'm very interested to hear how he sounds on WWE programming, because I've heard him on New Japan, and he's really good when it comes to commentary.
Cool.
Go ahead,
just
Rick.
talking about Cole, JBL, and Byron Saxton.
But the thing that nobody's understanding, and again, we come back to the same point, WWE really has set a protocol. They want to be more on an entertainment value than a technical value. It's been very clear. It's been noted several times. This guy may be the greatest, commentator since Gorilla Monsoon. But once he comes over, you're probably going to see that similar thing. If Gorilla Monsoon was alive today and doing commentary, we would not see that classic commentary, that we did 20, 30 years ago.
Yep, definitely. But now, on to the main event. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Roman Reigns defending against Sheamus with Vince McMahon as a special guest referee. First off, Vince McMahon, your muscles are sagging. Put on some damn sleeves. And I'm not the most buff guy on the planet. Far from it. Far from it. But when your arms are flapping more than a 90-year-old woman's arms, and you can make the Batman symbol on your arm, that's when you need to know you got to put on some damn sleeves.
It all comes down to Vince's ego. He's been on Muscle Fitness. Yeah, don't get me wrong. For a 70-year-old guy, he is in phenomenal shape. But to sit there and flex like you're some 23-year-old heartthrob, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And then he started flexing the pecs.
At the Attitude Era.
One thing that part of the, at one point, I thought the grossest thing I have ever seen on WWE programming was Mark Henry and the Speedo getting into a hot tub. Last night, as my sister just vomited a little bit in her mouth, last night trumped that. Again, that's scarring. It's scarring. But anyway, now on to the match. It kind of went the way I expected it to go. With, of course, Vince McMahon being the heel referee, doing everything he can to kind of. First off, what was he doing? Was he counting the pin with both hands? Did anybody else catch that, or was I just seeing things?
I honestly didn't catch it, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's basically all the same things. Like, oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, I got something in my eye, or my back is turning. It's basically all the classic heel stuff when when you're a special guest referee. It's basically nothing new out of Vince McMahon when it comes to that. Now, however, when it comes to taking bumps, McMahon, don't take bumps at 70 years old. I don't care what damn shape you're in, you can't sell a bump. You couldn't sell a bump when you were 60. You couldn't sell a bump when you were 50 when you're going after Stone Cold Steve Austin. You can't sell a bump now. You may be the... Go ahead.
Let me cut you off there, because I'm going to be honest with you. Vince did take good bumps in his earlier years, in his 50s and 60s for what he did. But the thing is, at 70 years old, obviously you can't do bumps. So you kind of have to, go with him a little bit lightly. So I know what you're referring to. You're referring to when Reigns threw him to the ground, and it was almost like a toss.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Now, with Vince McMahon down, we needed another referee, and guess who made his return? Scott Armstrong. Scott Armstrong, basically the authority referee, came out and tried to attempt to screw Roman Reigns out, and didn't happen. Roman Reigns would end up Superman punching him. Then another referee, John Cone, I think that's what he said. It was either John or Tom Cone. I know his last name was Cone. I distinctly remember that last name. But anyway, that's a totally different matter. He's just a referee. I don't even know why we're talking about him. But he would come out, Roman Reigns would hit the spear and retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and then Vince McMahon would drop a bombshell that at Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns will be defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, get this, in the Royal Rumble match itself. This hasn't been done since 1992 when Ric Flair won that particular Royal Rumble match and became the first, it was his first WWE, or at that time WWF, World Heavyweight Championship. Now, Rick, do you see WWE actually going through with this? Do you see this as possibly a good thing for them to do for the Royal Rumble?
Well, certainly original, and I'd like to clarify something. When they did the Royal Rumble, it was for the vacant Royal Rumble match. Nobody's actually had to be challenged to defend their title in it. Totally different story. Similar, but different. And, yeah, I do. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised. If Jericho doesn't beat him, my guess is that Reigns is going to show that he can overcome all odds, similar to what John Cena did in his early years. So I really think that's, they've been grooming him for quite some time to be the next John Cena. Oh, that's what reports said, and I think this is just the early tests.
I'm trying to distinctly remember why the title was vacated in 1992. Because for some odd reason, I thought Hogan went into that one as champion.
No, not to my knowledge. I could be wrong, again, my history, but I was pretty sure it was vacant.
But, yeah, so, but Lance, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I know they probably made the call because they're good about trying to get people back earlier than they should, circa Daniel Bryan, but yeah. In a way, I see them, and I hope they don't do this because it will shorten this guy's career immensely. If they try to bring Seth Rollins back this damn early, he'll just end up getting hurt. And if they try to do that and put the belt on him, but yeah, it's either that or they're basically going to have Roman run the gamut, which I can see them putting him at number 1.
I wouldn't be surprised. Definitely, I wouldn't be surprised at that. Because WWE Creative has been, especially Road Dogg, who's supposed to be at the helm of WWE Creative, has actually been quite predictable when it comes to storylines. Anyway, guys and gals, overall score on Monday Night Raw this week, the first Monday Night Raw of 2016, it's going to get a 3.5 out of 5. It was a somewhat decent show, a very interesting main event, which is, by the way, going to be best match of the night. And oddly, the Divas match will not get worst segment of the night. What's going to get worst segment of the night? Adam Rose on the microphone. What the hell are you saying? And then Curtis Axel, off the chain, off the chain. My voice hurts after doing that. All right. Anyway, let's go to Rick and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
Well, I have to say the best match of the night probably was the main event. There was a lot of stuff that was obvious about it, but other than that, it was okay. Yeah, worst spot, obviously, was the debut of the social Outcasts, which we called, Job Squad 2K16. As far as the rest of the show, I think there was like maybe one other good match. I think it was the tag team with the Usos versus the Legion. Great match. Other than that, nothing impressive. Nothing really stood out. So I gotta give it I'll give it a 3, and that's being nice.
And let's go to Lance and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
I'll give it a 3.5. And well, best match, like y'all said, the main event. Worst, I guess because Creative got high, the debut of the social Outcasts. And I do have one question. Is it possible to block the social Outcasts on social media?
You know what? Hey, I don't want to block it. I want all the media I can from those motherfuckers. Shit, that'll be a great spoof video.
Oh, hell yes. That'll be on the YouTube the HBR chat room, hosted by yours truly, us.
Well, anyway, guys and gals, what we want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? We definitely want to know what you guys out there have to say. Be sure to put your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Where can fans check you out on HWR?
Well, you can always check us out over on our video page, and that's over at youtube.com/HWR show. We do, obviously, Raw reviews. We do our own In the Moments, where we just pretty much ramble about anything that's going on in wrestling. And coming very soon to the HWR banner, it's called Danger Nights, where we do a lot of non-wrestling topics. We do retro game reviews as well as movie reviews, so that's going to be coming up in the very near future. If you want to come in and join the conversation, and we want passionate wrestlers who can say what they want, how they want, wrestling fans, let me get that shit right, and that's over in the group section on Facebook.com under the name HWR Chat Room.
Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck going and cooking videos, equipment reviews, guitar builds, rants, and every Wednesday I go live with Lance Moss TV and friends. I never know who's going to show up, so hit me up on Twitter. It's at Lance Moss TV, and subscribe if you hadn't.
WGS-TV is on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can ask me questions. Links will be provided in the description box below. And also don't forget to check out a couple of my playthroughs right here in the annotations at the end of this video. So with that being said, guys and gals, for the hardcore host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, Rick Head, and the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV, I am the Wrestle Gamer. Double B on the Bujo saying we'll see ya at the next Warp Zone. Yep. Tidal Wave! Uh-oh. Than it is to show your panties to someone? Yes! Far more embarrassing. Why? That doesn't make any sense to me.